Hey everyone, welcome back to That's How I Roll. This will be my final video before I start my solo game. So I kind of went back and, if you'll notice on my other videos, changed the name of what I'm doing here, because I am, I call my project here the ShadowDark Game Masters design kit. And basically what it's about is about how to use this book to develop, to design your world as a game master, all aspects of it to get you started as a solo player or as a game master for your groups. And so what I've done in my first 3 videos is I started with by using the book. We developed our world by using just 19 hexes, rolling up what each hex is, pointing on our point of interest, just by using the book, rolling on the charts, and then filling out our little design thing here so we would just know what's in what spot just for a quick reference. And then our next thing is we created our town right in the middle of our hex, so we could all adventures will spring from Iron Bridge. And so we developed the world. Then next we did the settlement. We developed Iron Bridge by developing the districts, by looking at by using the charts again inside ShadowDark. Again, all this is about is how can we use the ShadowDark book to solo or gameplay. And so we did that. We did our settlement. We were able to roll it up, do our points of interest, and then last night what we were able to do is we filled out our taverns, our shops, with the information that we needed straight from the book, and then we developed our NPCs for each district. And so tonight we're going to do the final stage, and I'm not going to do a one on character creation, because there's a lot you can find. Character creation videos all over the place. In the book, it's just great. You can just roll up a character with just the charts that are in here for random. I mean, if you want, you can run a random character. You can pick your character, build your character the old-fashioned way, which is what I'll do. I'll end up, like here's the random character chart right here. I'm going to roll up my characters off screen. And then when we start session 1, I'll introduce you to the 4 characters I'm going to run. And then, but what we're going to do on that first session of the solo is we're going to play the adventure that we create tonight. And so one of the things I want to kind of stress when it comes to ShadowDark Maps, ShadowDark is most people say it's about delving into the dungeons, because it has the mechanic with the torch and it has that old school vibe, and a lot of the products that come out are dungeon delves, and that's fine. But really I can use the ShadowDark Maps to create any type of adventure, from an urban to a wilderness to a dungeon delve, a fortress, an abbey, whatever it is. I can use this chart, this system here, to create whatever I want. Because when you go back and you look at your rolling for on the adventures, you see that there's all kinds of stuff here. Shrine, owl, keep, crypt, monastery, and so barrows. So there's a lot of these that you can run. And so any of these type of sites can be used as, you can use it as crypts, or you can use it as, I've used this system to create urban adventures. I've done it to create wilderness things. Just whatever I need, I can come here, and it's such a robust system if you want to use it for different ways. The one thing about the ShadowDark, I know when you do ShadowDark Maps, it's talking about the underground, the dungeons sizes, and all this kind of stuff. But what I'm going to show you through, and we'll start, the first adventure will be a dungeon delve. But what I'm going to do, how I'm going to use what tonight we're going to create, the first adventure, and I'm going to use the dungeon delve, but I'm going to, so we're going to roll up. I'm going to show you how I do dungeon creation. And again, I told y'all at the beginning, I like to use hex maps, and that's what I do. I use hex maps in everything that I do. And the reason is because, number one, when I sit down to play, a lot of times I don't have time to there's a ton of great map products online, and you guys know this. Some people are great at drawing maps. I'm great at not drawing maps, so I don't do it. So what I use hex crawl, also because I just got to get adventure done, get it started, and ready to play. And really, if you really think about an adventure, I like my adventures to be like books or movies, TV shows or whatever, where you go from scene to scene to scene. And so by using a hex crawl, point crawl, dungeon method, you just moving your adventure on from one scene to the other, by room by room by room. And how you get to each room, you could do it different ways, and we're going to show that here. But really, that's all it's about. It's all about, I want to sit down in 2 to 3 hours. I want an adventure that I can start. We get started, 5 to 10 minutes. We know what we need to do. We get to adventure. We start playing. We're done. That ends it for the night. Next week, we pick up and we keep going. And so that's what you'll see. When I start running my adventure with my 4 characters, you will see that each venture, I'm just going to sit down, roll it up, have my patrons say, here we go. This is what I need you to go do. My guys are going to go head out and do it and see if they pass or fail. Then they're going to come back to town. We're going to use the carousing rules to see what they do in the town, see if it causes any problems, and then next adventure starts. So what I do when I create an adventure, you go on page, the adventures are on page 122 and 123. And so on my kit here, I have my hex sheets on my left. On my right, I have where I'm going to fill in for my adventure. And so the first thing I will do, if you want to run an adventure generator on page 122, 123, just roll a d20. And it is free the hunter in the catacombs. Free the hunter in the catacombs, okay? Okay, the adventure site, I'll roll it up as a d20. It's 11. It's the Citadel. He is in the Citadel of the Cursed 17 Skull. Perfect. Okay, and so we will go and do the site size. And so when you go, so once I got my adventure, I know what I'm going to do. I know my party's going to free the hunter in the catacombs, that he's somewhere in the Citadel of the Cursed Skull. So what size, like how big is this room, where he's at we'll figure that out. But what I want to do is we're going to go here to the ShadowDark Maps, and we're going to roll our site size. So it's a D6. 1. That's funny. Last night all I could do was roll. Site size is small. All I can roll with 6s and give extravagant wealth on all my NPCs. And now I roll tonight and I get a thing. I might get a 1 right off the bat. So here we go. Site type, a 2 is going to be a cave. Okay, I could have just picked if I wanted to, but I would rather, I'm all about rolling. So we know that it's a small, so it's a 5d10, and then we'll roll the danger level. 3 is going to be unsafe. And that is helps you with encounters on each of the, for turn level on the danger level with the roll. And so we're going to go ahead and roll up our adventure table here. So random counters is if it's unsafe, it'll be check every 3 rounds. So I'm going to put this on here. Check every 3 rounds. All right. And so what we're going to do is this is how I go. So I know it's going to be 5 hexes. So I will start and I will come over here to my hex map and I will roll on the room type. And so normally what you do, if you're going to do it by the basic rules, and you can do it this way if you want, and that is you can get 5 D10s and I should already had these out, but I went back and forth about even if I wanted to roll 5 D10s, but you can get 5 D10s, roll them on your sheet, and then connect the dots, right? Like it says in the rule book, you can build your you roll it wherever they land. That is how your crypt works. But what I end up doing is I roll my dice, and then the number will tell you what the room type is. So what I do is I take my I go ahead and I mark the dice just like I just mark all the hexes around the dice, and then I write the number. Okay, and so the only caveat that they have in the rule book is the fact that your highest room is where the object or the boss monster is going to be. So we know that this right here is going to be my end room. So there's 2 different ways to do this. The one thing I like to do is I just go, I call this is my entrance. I pick one of these to be my entrance, or down here if I want, right? So I can call this my entrance to my dungeon. Okay, and then I just connect the hexes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect them like this. Is going to be how my dungeon rolls. So what I might do is I might go from here too. Okay, and so this would allow my characters to come and have a dungeon feel. Sometimes what I do is I just go straight down the line when it comes to, I will just go 1, 2, so there's 2 different ways. I'm gonna go ahead and do it here just to show you the 2 different styles on one map. So what I do is I go 5 hexes straight on down. I hope this isn't confusing, but I'm just going to show 2 different ways of doing this. So you can either do this, and then it's like 1, 5, 5, 4, 9. That's how I do it, because 9 is my last one. And so when the party comes in, and this is my entrance to my dungeon, I just go here, and then I go to here, then I go to here, then I go to here, go to here. No matter how they play, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight through the dungeon, and each room is going to be its own self. Or you can do the roll and spread it out, and then draw. If you want, you can have you can make this like a secret passage from 5 to 9 if you want them to get here fast. You can have them do so that you give your party a choice. So if they're in room 5, that we know there's 2 doors in that room, right? You get to make the there's 2 cave entrances out. You are the one who gets to describe it as you see it. All this is giving you the framework in which to put your adventure, and you're able to do it really, really fast. And so I go here, and you know that entrance 1 here. I put my 1, 2, 3. And come over here. 4, 5. Here's my rooms, right? And so the first one, I know the room type, it is empty. Now, and then my second room is a 5, which is going to be a solo monster. Okay, and then, solo monster. And then a 3 is a trap. And what did I do? 1, 2. Burn it. Then I can mark my rooms. Forgot to do that. And I'm gonna make number 9 the 5 room. So number 2 is a solo monster. The number 3 is a solo monster. And number 4 is a minor hazard. Okay, and then number 9 is going to be the treasure, but that's also where my objective is supposed to be, right? So in this room, number 5 is going to be my ender, so the hunter is going to be here. Okay, now, and the boss monster, because most of the time I always like to have a boss monster at the end. So this is how I do my dungeon. And then what I do is on details, I will go in and you just go to the chart right here. And even though you have an empty room, now this is the thing about empty, because you know, 1 over 2 it's an empty and people go, oh man, it's empty. An empty room is never really an empty room. This is the area where I'm going to give clues and details, like foreshadowing to the party what they can expect. So whenever I decide on I'm going to roll here and it's going to give me some ideas on what my solo monster is. This area when they come in is where they're going to start getting clues of maybe they see tracks, maybe they saw the place where the hunter, when he first got in here, he was maybe even chased in here, or maybe he was, they see that he set camp or whatever. An empty room is never really an empty room. It's a way for you to set the tone of the adventure. It's a way for you to set the tone of when they come in, even if it's in the middle. Let's say this room was the empty room. It's the same thing. When they get to hear what they've been through, this room is not technically empty of nothing. It needs to be something that allows you that you can be creative about, that you can put in here, that is going to help the party. Maybe it is somewhere that they can rest, or maybe it is somewhere where they can have time to mend or bind or whatever they're going to do, maybe light a new torch, whatever they're going to do. But it also should always be a place that gives you clues and details and some foreshadowing for the adventure. That should always be part of your mind. So when we're going to go here to solo monster, so I'm going to roll the details, right? So it's a D6. The first detail is a sneaky spellcaster. So it's a sneaky spellcaster. Okay, and then the other solo monster, roll him up, is a mighty brute. And what we'll do, and I'm not going to do this tonight because I'll go through, and I'll look through my monsters and I'll decide on, you know, I will fill these in with a sneaky spellcaster by using the bestiary here, and the mighty brute. I will go through and put those in here. Then you get to room 4, we know is a minor hazard. So it has it on here, 1d6. A 4, it's dense rubble. Okay, and so what I usually do, and then we have the treasure, and then let me roll a d6 here. 5 is protected by a trap. Okay, and so this will be my grand finale, right? When they get into this room, somehow when they get here, the hunter will be here. Now, if you don't, you can have the hunter, maybe he's trapped by dense rubble and you want to stick him in this room. That's up to you, wherever they're going to find the hunter. But I will probably end up putting him in, you know, I probably will move him to the dense rubble, just for the fact is that this is a room that's kind of out of the way. And so I would like that if they come in here and they survive whatever the minor hazard, they will get some kind of reward with it. And maybe finding the hunter, it would be the perfect spot right here. And then we'll finish it up with the boss monster and the treasure. Now the hunter might say, you know, I saw the monster and there's a treasure, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then this is where he'll go to get it. And here's the other thing. I just put the boss monster. You don't have to. You can say this is the treasure room. And there is no boss monster. It's just protected by a trap. And so I would probably make both these secret doors to get to this treasure room. And so when I look at the trap, protected by a trap, I'll go ahead and use the chart that I have here. 2, it's arranged. It's ranged and deadly. Okay, now if you need some help building this, you know there is a trap. You can go to traps in your book on page 114, and there are some trap ideas right here, and for your hazard idea. Like, you know, this is dense rubble, but if you want to look down here, you can find loose debris, and this is what the damage is, and then what it does to the party. So you can go, and once you get your hazards, this just kind of gives you an idea, and you can go here and build it out. So what I'll usually do is I just go down there and I look at kind of what this is, and I kind of blind with the what the movement is, the hazard, and the weakening, what it does. And then the same thing for traps. You know, I will try to find something that will be like, it's either going to be crossbow, hail of needles, something of that name, and then I want to make sure that it's the danger and effect and how the trap is triggered. So I will build all that when I start to play and I get to those type of things. And I could go ahead and really kind of do it now since I'm developing, but I don't want this video to be that long. Really all I wanted to do was to kind of show you guys that how to use the map, how to create a quick adventure to get rolling. So if you are doing a solo, we're going to run through this, and on the next time that I do, I will probably come back and have some facts in here. I'll fill them out and let you guys know like what I decided for the Mighty Brute, the Stinky Spellcaster, what this whole, you know, what's the ecology of this dungeon is looking like. But I just wanted to show you that this is how I do ShadowDark Maps. And then in my product, I'm going to have the link in the description. It's a free, this is what I've done right now is free. So if you want to get it and you want to start using it, what I've done is that you can just print it as a PDF, you can print it out. And when you do, I just added more ShadowDark Maps to what I have. Because what I do is I'll play an adventure, turn the page, play another, sit down to play, I have another map, sit down to play, I have another map, and each adventure is going to stem off of my world in my town. And so when I go, you know, I will pick up an NPC, and that NPC will be the one who has given my characters this adventure to free the hunter in the catacombs. Where in it, how does it place on my map? I can look to see if I already have a. So I have right here in the forest. I have a deadly in hex 18, which is right here, which is 2 steps away. I do have a monster nest hiding a great treasure. So bam, once I do this, that will be my Citadel of the Cursed Skull, and they will leave from town, and they will still have to travel through these hexes and to get here. And then when they get into this forest, it's a deadly forest. So here I am, I have my adventure set up. I have an NPC coming out of Ironbridge. I have where they'll travel. I have the Citadel of the Cursed Skull. It will be this mark right here. So I will know that this area here is a monster nest with hiding a great treasure. And so that will allow me to try to build up these type of things, the rest of my dungeon. But really the key to all this for me when it comes to this book is just using Hexcrawl for a dungeon. This is my Citadel, but I can use it. I can just go from one point to the other. And if you're creative and you want to draw the map, that's fine. I just find it so much easier to drop the dice, do a hex, connect everything together, and then walk my party through it. So, because I know the description, I know it's a cave, I know it's a citadel, I can describe all those things when they get there, and when they find the entrance to the catacombs or the caves. Maybe the caves are outside the citadel. The citadel maybe is broken down on the wall, you know, and there's maybe it's called a citadel skull because the citadel is built into a mountain that has a skull face, and part of the skull face is the cave that they go into, and this is where this is. So, you know, all this stuff just gives me ideas. And then what we'll see is now we start session 1 with my 4 party. We'll play this adventure, and I'll show you how I do these things. And there's one other things, and I'll show this in adventure as well. For each hex, like if I get here to minor hazard, what I do is I just set the DC. So when you're solo playing, the problem is, oh, well, how do I get past this? How do I know whatever? You can set the DC that's already here in the book, right at the beginning, here. And so if it's a minor hazard, I would probably make it normal, and I would just make it normal as a DC 12, that whatever they have to do to get through this rubble is going to be a DC 12 for them to make it through. Because I just consider that a minor hazard. If it's a major hazard, I would make it hard. And so, because that's what you're doing when you're getting here, you're trying to go, okay, well, how's my character going to get these minor habits? It's going to be a dice roll, and however the dice roll is, that's how you're then going to narrate what happens and how your party makes it through. Because a lot of solo, I think, playing that people have a problem with is the fact that they want so much detail in it that it's like they're writing this whole book or whatever. Just start small. Start from each adventure, and each adventure, let it be its own little self-contained adventure, and then just get through the dungeon by how you're doing. You know you're going to have two, maybe 3 combats. Oh, like this one right here for the treasure, guarded by a deadly trap. This will probably be a DC 20, 15, or 20. No doubt, because it's a guarded by deadly trap is for the treasure. And what the treasure is, I'll roll it up when I get there through here. So anyway, thanks again for stopping by and checking out my Game Master Dungeon kit. You will see that I renamed my sessions instead of session zeros, because I just want to show that that's what this is. And then when I start playing, those will be my sessions. But again, my name's Greg. Hey, thanks for my channel. If you download my Game Master's design kit, please leave some comments if you have some ideas and some suggestions of what to add, because I might even end up adding a place for temples, or I might add a place for temples. Will probably be easier, and I might add one for journaling, so that when you get done with your adventure, you flip the page, fill out a journal. You'll have a journal, and then you can go on your next adventure, and then you can journal. That's what I'm looking at doing. I think I might add that. But anyway, thanks again. Next session, we will start with session 1 of our party going on the adventure to free the hunter in the catacombs at the Citadel of the Cursed Skull. See you then. Thank you.